Hello YouTube, this is MBR123456789 and today I will be doing a camera review on the Nikon Coolpix S4100. As you can see, this is the plum exterior. I wasn't crazy about the plum when I first got it, but then I realized that it really does have a nice rich tone and it looks very pleasant and nice. This camera also comes in red, silver, and black. See, one side here, all you see is the plum and the black. The bottom of the camera, you see all the technical information. Here's your AV out, and you can charge it here through an AC adapter or your PC or Mac. And over here is the card and battery slot. You can use SD cards in this. You may also use SDXC cards, but not all work. Try not to go over 8 gigabytes. On the top of this camera, you see Coolpix S4100, your on-off switch, your zoom, and the shutter button. Now, the back of this camera is almost fully touchscreen. You control this camera mostly by the touchscreen, but there are 3 buttons on the side of the camera. Your record button, a camera button, which you can change the scene mode with, or go to your camera from playback view, and playback view. And you will notice over here, that is your flashlight. On the side, you see where you can connect a wrist strap, which you can also, on the end of your wrist strap, put a stylus. And now, let's power up the camera. Get this out of the way here. And here we go. You see the Coolpix logo. And now, let's go through some of the settings and features. When you hit this left arrow here, you see there's 4 options. And you can't customize these, unfortunately, but it's okay, they're pretty basic anyway. You have the flash, which when you click, there's 5 different options. And the nice thing about this camera, with all the touchscreen controls, if you just hold one down, it tells you what it is, and you can move off of it if you don't want to select it. So slow sync, this is no flash. Red eye reduction. Oops. And this is just auto flash. Second one is your self timer. There's options for 2 seconds and 10 seconds. Your macro mode, either on or off. And this is your exposure compensation, which you can just drag to adjust, see it gets brighter, darker, and we'll reset that. In this bottom menu here, you see some of the settings for the shooting menu, and then this is your main settings menu. We'll start with the shooting settings. This is your different camera quality for still pictures. As you can see, this is a 14.2 megapixel camera, but you also have the options for 8, 5, 3, PC, VGA, and 16:9. This is what you choose the touchscreen to do when you're in the shooting mode. You can have the touch shutter. This is the subject tracking, and then you have your autofocus by touching. I like having it set on touch shutter. Then you have your ISO settings. It's just pretty self-explanatory here. I like to just keep it on auto. Your burst mode, single, continuous, BSS, and multi-shot 16. I'm not crazy about that multi-shot 16 because when you get the printer to print out the picture, it comes out in little small cubes, and I'm just not a fan of that. Then you have your movie mode down here. You can either shoot in 720p, 1280 by 720 HD, VGA, which I like to use a lot because the HD is not great on this camera, but it is a slight bit better than the VGA, but VGA doesn't take up as much memory, so that's what I like to use. And then you can also use QVGA, which is way smaller. You have your focus mode for when you're taking a video, autofocus full-time or single autofocus, and then your wind noise reduction. Now let's move on to the settings menu. You see some general setup options. This is your autofocus assist lamp. Just put on auto. Digital zoom. Sound settings, which you control the beep that you hear. See, now it's turned off. Now it's turned on. And then the shutter sound. Hit our back button. Auto off. I just have mine to 30 minutes because I am pretty good at turning off my camera when I'm not using it. Format card. That's if you would like to format the SD card language. This comes in, actually, believe it or not, several different languages. Take a look at those. Alright, go back. Scroll down. Video mode, which is when you plug it into a TV, you can either have NTSC or PAL. You can have the charge by computer settings. There's either off or auto. Blink warning, that's if I were to take a picture of somebody and they were blinking, it would pop up and then say, did somebody blink? And you can either erase the picture or you can cancel or save it. Reset all is just resetting all the settings. Copying is copying the SD card information and pictures to the system memory, and firmware version is just firmware version. Alright, so let's take a look at the different scene modes. So you hit your camera hard switch down here, and you have three options: auto mode, scene mode, and smile shutter. Smile shutter is when you push the shutter down, and every time the camera detects a face and sees a smile, it takes the picture. Now, get ready for this, because scene mode has a lot of different options. Alright, well, you can see there are about 20 different options on this screen. The nice, useful feature of this camera is when you hit the help button, you notice that it changes colors, and you can click any one and it tells you a description of it. So let's hit this thing that looks like a snowman. It says, snow preserves the brightness of sunlit expanses of snow. Alright, so we go back and we'll show you one more. Pet portrait, and see there's a cute little face of a cat on there. This says, for photos of pets, the camera detects the faces of dogs and cats. Pretty high tech. Now there's one more that I actually want to show you. So we're going to go back and we're going to hit this one. This is draw. With your stylus, you can draw in a few different colors. There's not a wide variety, but there's a good amount. So let's choose blue. That's actually more of a purple. Then you choose the thickness of your pen and draw. Now this touchscreen is pretty responsive. It's not the best, but it is pretty darn good for an early touchscreen camera. You can choose to go back by hitting this X. We don't want to save it. Hit the hard camera button. And now we're back to the camera. Now I will show you a quick demonstration of videotaping. So all you do is you take the camera, and it's as easy as this. You hit the red record button. And there you see that it's flashing REC, which stands for record, in the top left-hand corner. And it shows the minutes remaining on the bottom. So to view this video that we just took, hit the playback button, and there it is. Hit play. And there you see that it's flashing REC, which stands for record, in the top left. You get the point. So there's pause, rewind, fast forward, and this is your volume. There's off, 1, 2, or 3. We'll just hit stop. Then there's also a bunch of different options on playback mode for each image. You have delete, which will show you current image, yes. And now we're going to open the camera back up, which you can also return to camera mode by just pressing the shutter button. It goes back. We'll show you that again. Playback, just tap the shutter button. There we go. Right back to shooting. So, we're going to take a test picture right here. Alright, as you can see, we have a pretty nice fake flower bouquet. So what we're going to do is I'll show you what it looks like when you take a picture. So, all you do, push the shutter button down halfway, it focuses, and boom. Also, the zoom feature, again, you just pull, zoom in, and this does have amazing zoom. Halfway to focus, and boom. Now I'll show you those pictures I took. Here's one. See, very good quality, and you can see the time, the date, and there you go with 14 megapixels. And here's the other one I took. And I'll show you some of the options you can do with the picture. You can put it into a favorite folder, delete it. You can change slideshow settings, effects, frame interval, loop, and start. This is the protect button. The print button. And this is draw. You can choose to draw on your picture that you took. There we go. We're not going to save this. I'm going to X. Yeah. And this is a really cool feature. One of my favorite features on this camera. The retouch button. There's a bunch of different options. Quick retouch. Delighting, which improves the lighting on the picture. Stretch. Just drag this and it stretches the picture. Perspective control. Filter effects. This is the best. You can choose color options, make it black and white, sepia, normal, and blue. Soft is just making, well, pretty self-explanatory, making the picture a little bit softer. Now, we hit next. This is my favorite feature. Selective control. Color, I'm sorry. You can drag this bar and it shows only the colors you choose. So let's say green. Okay, sometimes it's hard to use. You have to find a good shade of the color. So you can see this bluish color is the color of the bottom of our flower. And that's what the camera's picking up. So we'll move on. Cross screen. We'll let this load. Doesn't really do much. Fisheye. Everybody knows what fisheye does. And miniature effect. We'll hit back. And you can see the few that are left. Glamour retouch. Making your picture smaller, which means sizing it down, less memory. and rotate. So we'll go ahead and format this SD card because we don't need anything on it. General settings menu. Format card. All images will be deleted. Okay. Okay. We hit yes. And then it just wants to double check, so we hit OK again. All done. Alright. Well, thank you very much for watching this review on the Nikon Coolpix S4100.